My name's Katie, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about something regarding women in our country and what's called political efficacy. Political efficacy is the idea that your voice matters in politics and that you can bring about change. This issue was brought to my attention while watching a documentary called Misrepresentation. According to the documentary, 51% of the US population is comprised of women. So during this documentary, I'm watching clips of newscasters talk about women in leadership positions. They were saying things like, "Look at these ugly skanks who make up the female leadership of the Democratic Party. You know that ugly hag, Madeleine Albright? Remember her? A psycho. She was Secretary of the State under Clinton. I remember her like a fat moron. Breast implants? Did you get them or not? Because it's all over the internet." And lastly, let me tell you something about Sarah Palin, man. She is good masturbation material. Other derogatory comments like sappy bitch, stereotypical bitch, the Wicked Witch of the West. Derogatory remarks regarding women in positions of power should never be permitted in media of any type, due to the fact that these remarks dehumanize, degrade, and misinform an entire population. Our culture will have us believe that women are more emotional and more irrational than men. They will have us believe that women should not be in leadership positions because they can't handle crisis situations. According to Forbes magazine and a study conducted by Kauffman Foundation, women-led companies are more capital efficient and achieve a lot more with much leaner resources. Women entrepreneurs bring in 20% more revenue with 50% less money invested than their male counterparts. I have been so lucky to be mentored by many strong women in leadership roles. I have seen their struggles, and I have seen them stand strong and pull through in times of crisis. One of my very best friends, CEO, once told her to not use certain words because they sound bitchy coming from a woman. The same CEO will introduce everybody in the room with their fancy titles, but skip over her as if she's nothing. She is ex-military, and she is one of the strongest women I have known. Women have so much perspective to offer, yet they aren't even being given the opportunity to have their voice heard. Girls and women feel void of value when they hear on mainstream media newscasters talking about women's looks or how they're dressed or what their boobs look like, rather than what college they went to, what positions they've held, what degrees they have, what accomplishments they've gone through. According to Marian Wright Edelman, an American activist for children's rights, you can't be what you can't see. It is what these girls see that will inspire them to be something. Our media mocks, mimics, and disrespects these strong women who have accomplished so much and strive for change. Why would any girl strive to be in that position so they can be publicly humiliated in front of all of America? What motivation will they have to aspire to be a CEO, a governor, or even the president? According to the Misrepresentation documentary, there have been 34 women in the history of our nation who have served as governor versus a staggering 2,319 men. 67 countries in our world have had women presidents or prime ministers. The United States is not one of those countries. Cuba, China, Iraq, and Afghanistan have had more women serve in government roles than the United States. Yes, that shocked me too. Think about what we think about when we hear Afghanistan and Iraq and women. The stereotypical white men is running our countries, making laws and changing laws about women without adequate representation from the women population. These men don't have the right tools available to them to make logical or rational decisions because they have no idea what it's like to be a woman. How can this be? I thought our country was better than that. I thought our people were better than that. Today, we have seen how these messages that we receive through the media affect how we think about women in leadership positions. And we have seen it affect an entire generation of women and girls. We have seen the media tell us who's equipped to run our country and who we should vote for. And we have seen that we need to make a change for future generations. How can I release my daughter into a world that thinks her voice does not matter? And how can you release your daughters into this world? How can it be that our nation is so technologically advanced, but still women can't lead? We all know this needs to change. How are you going to be part of that change? We need to be intolerant of this behavior. We need to help our next generation of women and girls feel empowered, heard, and valued. We need to teach our next generation of men that this behavior should not be tolerated. Let's inspire this change. Do not continue to allow the women in your lives to feel devalued and dehumanized. So, as many of you know, there was recently an election, and every woman on this board made history. Every woman on this board is inspiring the change they wish to see in the world. Thank you.
Good job.
I was sweating, I gotta go